2016, and today we're talking about our favorite books
of 2013.
So these are just my additions to my list of must-reads. If you have yet to see my first favorites video, you can click here right now, so that way you know that I have other favorites as well that came before this. Some new favorites. What have I read since the last favorites video? A crap load of stuff. First on my list, we have the Percy Jackson series. You don't know how many people watch the first video and yell at me for not including Percy Jackson. Excuse me. I had not read them yet. I didn't even know they were a thing that people like. Since then, I have acquired my hardcover Percy Jackson box set. I have fallen in love with the series. The first book in this series is The Lightning Thief, and if you haven't read it and you need convincing, go ahead and click here right now. I have a video where I talk all about it. Next on my list, I have the Stephanie Perkins novels. I recently reread them, and they just made me so happy. I remembered why I love them so much. If you don't know about Stephanie Perkins, she writes contemporary books. The first book is called Anna and the French Kiss. The second book is called Lola and the Boy Next Door. These books are like being on happy pills. They're adorable and fantastic. The relationships are the sweetest things. All the characters are quirky and really fun and in tune with the pop culture. Highly recommend them, especially if you're feeling down. These are gonna bring you right back up. They're so wonderful. Next series I want to talk to you about, the Darkest Mind series. This book was fantastic. I read it back in January. It just has fantastic characters that you get so attached to. You feel so invested in them. If you want to know what it's about, you can click here right now. I have a book talk where I explain the whole premise in depth, okay? The second book, Never Fade, is coming out this October. It's gonna be a trilogy. I'm really excited about it. Next thing you should be reading is the Legend series by Marie Lu. Oh man, I loved these books. They go by really fast. They're action-packed. I could not stop reading them. The second one was even better than the first. It's a dystopian. It takes place in the future where the US has split into two separate countries. There's civil war going on. It's just so good, and the characters are kick-ass. The third book is called Champion. It comes out in November. If you need more of an explanation about what these are about, feel free to click the screen right now to head over to the Legend book talk that I made. Next, I have the Dyer series by Richelle Hodkin. Now, after reading the first book in this series, which is called I'm Becoming a Dyer, I was iffy about it. I didn't know how I felt. I knew I was really interested. The narrator has hallucinations, so you never know when she's actually seeing something or if it's not real. And it is so creepy. The narrator is funny and witty, and I just love her writing style. And then when I picked up the second book in the series, which is The Evolution of Dyer, I loved it. And I'm excited for the third book in the trilogy to come out next year. It's called The Retribution of Dyer. If you're looking for something different that has that creep factor, and if you're iffy about the first one, I highly recommend moving on to the second one. Next new favorite I have is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. Read this earlier on in the year. It's the first book in a very promising new trilogy. Usually it takes you more than one book in the series to really latch onto it. I'm latched on, okay? This book had me enthralled the entire way through, and it's like 500 pages. It's a post-apocalyptic novel, and I've heard from a few people that I've recommended to, the ones that didn't get into it, were like, oh, it was like really intense, I couldn't get into it, it was kind of bumming me out. The beginning is tough. It's very dreary. We're learning about what has happened to this narrator and to the world, and it's upsetting, but you gotta push past that, and this book is fantastic. The narrator is this girl, Cassie. She's kick-ass. She's really fun and snarky. If I were you, I'd want to get on this bandwagon early. I want to be a hipster fifth wave fan. This is gonna be good. Next, I have the Indigo spell by Richelle Mead, which is the third book in the spin-off series to Vampire Academy called Bloodlines. Bloodlines has been coming along a lot like the Vampire Academy series. The first book is okay, it's fun. The second book is better, and the third book is awesome. It just hits the ground running. You have not read this series, and if you read the Vampire Academy series, I'm gonna recommend you picking it up because I'm having so much fun with it. You can always count on Richelle Mead to have these fantastic characters that interact in such hilarious ways. And the fourth book, Fiery Heart, is coming out in November. It's the right time to hop on the bandwagon. You got 4 books in the bag, got 2 more to go. I know the cover's really ugly. I agree. And lastly here, of my new favorites, I have The Heroes of Olympus series by Rory. Now, this is the spin-off series. I wouldn't call it a spin-off, actually. It's just a continuation, really, of the Percy Jackson series. Now Percy Jackson's older, and we got a whole new crew. The hardest part about getting into this series is getting past the first book, The Lost Hero. If you're really attached to Percy, like I am, there's not much Percy in that book, but it's so good. It's maybe better. I think I might like these better than the Percy Jackson series. My favorite of this series so far has been The Son of Neptune, which is the second book, and House of Hades is coming out in October. Percy Jackson is hilarious. I love reading these books all the time. Again, I have book talks for all of these books, so if you need more convincing about any of them that sound interesting to you, you can find them in my video library. That wraps up my list of new favorite books. If you haven't read any of these books, I hope you pick them up and enjoy them as much as I did. If you have any favorite books that I have not read yet, please leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'm Christine. I haven't talked about my social network things in a while, so I'm just gonna lay that out right now. My Twitter is @xteenmay. I have an Instagram, it's also @xteenmay. I have Facebook, facebook.com/SteamerProductions with a Z, and I have Tumblr, homelands20.tumblr.com. I'm Christine, thank you for watching. Remember to share your favorites, unless it's The Fault in Our Stars. I already know that's everyone's favorite. Okay, thanks for watching, bye!